Well, hello, everybody. My name is Dara Smith, and I am the Executive Director for Haven House Inc. You guys are in for a treat. I am so excited about our special guest today. We have Mr. Phil Taillon, who is the Chief of Staff for the City of Hammond, and I'm just so excited as he is our first guest. You're seeing it for the first time here exclusively on Facebook Live. He is our first guest to kick off our Truth to Power broadcast. And I'm so excited about this segment because you're going to have an opportunity to get an up close, but not too personal, in behind the scenes in the life of Mr. Phil Taillon. And I will say this. I heard someone say one day, and I think it's so befitting for today's segment, that you have to give people their flowers while they're still living. And so I'm so excited for the opportunity to just be able to showcase and just acknowledge such an amazing leader. So before we get into the topic at hand, I just want to talk a little bit about Haven House Inc., the services that we offer. So we are a 24-hour emergency shelter. We provide various services. We provide safety planning, crisis intervention, advocacy, residential services. So everything that a person would need for just the everyday essentials of living, non-residential services. So we also do orders of protection as well. We do community outreach also. If you would like to be a part of what Haven House is doing, I would just like to encourage you to please, you can give a donation online at havenhousenwi.org. Let me make sure I put that website up for you. havenhousenwi.org. You can give your donation electronically, or if you are also if you know of someone that's in need of our services, like I said, we have a crisis worker that is available 24 hours a day. So they can give us a call at 219-931-2090. Also, if it is a non-emergency, you can also reach us at havenhousedvs at AOL.com. All right, you guys. So now I have the great opportunity to do the thing that I enjoy the most, and that is introducing our special guest for today. So please make sure that if you have any questions, if you have any comments, to please put that information in the comments. All right, you guys. Well, I have the opportunity to introduce our special guest on today, Mr. Phil Taillon, who is the Chief of Staff for the City of Hammond. Mr. Phil Taillon graduated from Bishop Noll High School in 1991. He graduated from Purdue University Calumet with a bachelor's in management in 1997. He worked at Bank Calumet, First Midwest Bank from 1998 to 2008. Mr. Taillon finished there as Assistant Vice President and Branch Manager of the Highland Grove branch. He taught 3 classes through the American Institute of Banking, including Principles of Banking, Money and Banking, and Law and Banking. He started with the City of Hammond as Director of Economic Development in 2008, and in 2009 was promoted to Executive Director of Planning and Development. Promoted again to Chief of Staff in September of 2007. Serving on several boards, including United Way, Legacy Foundation, Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce, Mental Health America, Hammond Development Corporation, and the Challenger Learning Center. He was one of the Times 2016 Indiana Business Professionals to Watch. So, without further ado, I would ask you all to please join me in welcoming our special guest for today, Mr. Phil Taillon. Well, greetings, sir.
Hey, good afternoon, Dara. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, just fine. Well, anything you want to say to the viewers out there?
Well, first, I want to thank you for that amazing introduction. I think you definitely have a talent there.
Oh, thank you.
Um, hey, I'm glad to be here. Hello, all the viewers out there. Excited to be on the show, on the broadcast, and particularly love what you guys do at Haven House, Dara. So I'm just excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to just jump into the questions at hand. Actually, before I do that, in reading your bio, sir, you serve on so many boards. How do you manage it? How do you find balance?
You know, I didn't always do that. I think over the last maybe 3 or 4 years, I was on certain boards. I've been on some boards forever. For example, Mental Health America used to be Parents as Teachers, and then we merged with Mental Health America. So I've been on that board for a very long time. But over the years, you meet so many people, and they ask, "Hey, would you like to get involved with this organization?" And they start talking about all the things they're doing that are great for the community, are needed services or programs that they're offering that are needed, not just in Hammond, but throughout Northwest Indiana. And you can't help but want to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's hard to, once you're involved, it's hard to jump off. I mean, you start getting invested in those organizations, and you're doing some great things. It just feels good. It's good to give back. So I'm on 7 boards, and I love every one of them.
Wow, that's amazing. And I just want to take this moment to just a testament to you, because I feel that one of the qualities of a great leader is that of course they make a difference in people's lives, they make an impact, but I also especially believe that those great leaders, when they make an impression on your life, or they make an impact in your life that carries throughout your entire life. And there's two instances that I would say, and we kind of talked a little bit about this offline, but I didn't share with you that I was going to mention that. But one of the qualities and inspirations that I've always admired about you, Phil, that I've carried with me throughout my life, was that you have always been such a calm person. And I know that you probably faced some challenges, as we all have, but you always remain consistent, and you always remain the same. And you were always just so calm and so professional. And that was something that I always carried with me. And then, without going into too many details, it was a statement, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, it's not exact what you said, but you basically, in essence, talked about how life was too short, and how that if you were in the hospital, so to speak, and at that moment, the things that you were so concerned about, life would continue to move on in spite of, the fact that you were in a hospital. I'm just giving that example. And that just really stuck with me, because it just brought things in perspective, that no matter what's going on, that life is too short. And that's basically what I'm getting to, the essence or the point of it all. So I just wanted to just let you know that you personally made a difference in my life. And I just appreciate you so much as a leader. And that's why I'm so excited that you said yes to be on the broadcast today, so that not only people will see what I see, but they will have an opportunity to get a behind the scenes of you as a leader. Because one thing I will tell you, I looked at your Instagram post, and that really speaks to who you are as a person. You're not the type of person where you got to be seen or you got to be up front. And it was like nothing about you on your Instagram. It was just like stuff about the city of Hammond, but there wasn't anything about you. So that really speaks to who you are as a person. So with that being said, I would be remiss if I did not, because you're a part of an amazing team and you all are doing outstanding things for the city of Hammond. And I would be remiss if we didn't talk about that. So, Phil, can you tell us what's happening in the city of Hammond?
Wow. Thank you, Dara, by the way. Thank you for all those words. I
Oh,
really
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Um, uh, but, the city is doing fantastic. Obviously, the world has been dealing with the pandemic, and that definitely changed the way we go about things like we have in the past. But overall, as we're slowly kind of moving forward and coming up, obviously people are getting vaccinated now, and although we have variants out there, there's a certain level of people feeling more confident and comfortable these days of getting out. We are getting more back to normal in the city. But to be honest with you, we never stopped. We never stopped working on projects. We never stopped working on the programs and the events that we have in the city. Obviously, some things we had to postpone, but Hammond just keeps on moving. I mean, we have a lot of great businesses that have moved in the city over the last, I'll say 5 years, but obviously it's longer than that. I think some of that has to do with some of the challenges that are going on in Illinois. And I think we see a lot of folks that are coming to Indiana feeling more confident about what's going on in our state over here as opposed to what's going on in Illinois. But in Hammond, Mayor Tom, I learned a long time ago from him. He's just a very progressive mayor in that he's always looking to see what's next for the city. Well, I'll go to the mayor and say, Mayor, we landed this great business. They're coming in. We created all these jobs, and this is going to be great for our community. And he'll be like, Phil, that's great. What else? What else is going
Mm-hmm.
on? And that's just his attitude. And I think because he's always been that way, his our entire team has that attitude. We're never going to be satisfied with where we're at. We're never going to be patting ourselves on the back for something we've accomplished. We're going to keep on moving on to the next project and the next big thing, whatever it may be. So we got a lot of great things in Hammond right now. I don't know. You want to talk businesses? What do you want to talk? You tell me.
Whatever you want to talk about.
One of the biggest things we just announced not that long ago is our brand new YMCA that's coming.
Wow.
We've had YMCA in the city of Hammond right off of Southeastern for a very long time. But they actually ran out of space quite a while ago. They did an expansion. I want to say it's probably a year and a half ago now, where it was a $3 million expansion, and they did update a lot of their building and make some of their spaces bigger in the building, like their pool area is bigger. Their fitness center grew exponentially, but they were always limited in what they could do because of where they were located.
Okay.
And recently, we worked out a deal with the YMCA where they're going to build a brand new $45 million,
Wow.
130,000 square foot facility at Indianapolis Boulevard and 165th. That a lot of people refer to as the old Woodmar Mall area. At least I
Mm-hmm.
do, because I spent
Mm-hmm.
my childhood growing up there. And there's going to be a 30,000 square foot outdoor water park for families, and we are just very excited about
Wow.
this project because we know not only what YMCA does for a community, but also the impact it's going to have on the rest of the city with all the generation of traffic that's going to occur when this facility opens. They're supposed to
Wow.
start construction early next year, and it'll be done sometime early 2023. And we are very excited about that. And for people that did used to go to Woodmar Mall, that was our community gathering space. That's where a lot of us went
Mm-hmm.
when we were younger. And so it hurt a lot as the mall started kind of closing down slowly in pieces until finally Carson's was the last piece that shut down. And so to get the Sportsplex in that and do what they're doing, and now to make the announcement for the YMCA, I think it's really exciting that that area is once again maybe going to be the top community gathering space in all of the city. So very
Wow.
excited about that project.
Wow, that's exciting. Wow, that's awesome. I
Mhm.
know we had an opportunity to talk offline about some other things that's going on in the city of Hammond, and you mentioned about a fest that's coming up this weekend as well.
Yeah, we just Hammond's known for Festival of the Lakes, which just ended about 2 weeks ago, and it was our most successful festival ever. We brought in some great bands this year. We raised more money than we ever had before in the past.
Wow.
We sold more tickets, probably tenfold than we ever had in the past. So it was fantastic. But this Saturday happens to be Beatles Fest, which it's privately run. It's not actually run by the city, but it brings thousands of people to downtown Hammond, and it is a fantastic festival. If people have not come, I suggest they try it one time. I mean, Beatles music, appeals to most people.
Hmm.
It's one of the top bands in the history of our country, and this particular fest, it's very laid back. You just see people smiling all day, listening to great music, having a drink, eating, having a bite,
Hmm.
and it's just a very fun, relaxing atmosphere. So it opens at 2 o'clock p.m. this Saturday. I hope people will come out to downtown Hammond and check it
Hmm.
out.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, for those that have just tuned in, my name is Doris Smith, and I am the executive director for Haven House Inc. And you have tuned in to exclusively first time with a exclusive interview with Mr. Phil Taillon, Chief of Staff for the City of Hammond. And me personally, I consider Phil as the second most powerful person in the City of Hammond. Of course, Mayor McDermott being number one. So thank you all so much for tuning in today. If you are in need of some crisis emergency services, we are a 24-hour shelter. We have a crisis worker available 24 hours a day. You can reach us at 219-931-2090. Also, if you would like to be a part of what we're doing here at Haven House, if you would like to give a donation online, you can go to havenhousenwi.org. All right, so now let's jump right into it with the questions. First question that I have for you, Phil, is it possible for the chief of staff to have a typical day?
Um, the answer is probably no. Everything, every day is different in this role. I would say there are some things that I deal with, some I guess you'd say typical things I deal with on a daily basis or weekly basis. As chief of staff, really you're overseeing all the employees in the city, which
Mm.
roundabout I think we have 700 full-time employees, and
What?
altogether we're closer to like 1,200 when you include part-time. So you're
Wow.
overseeing most of the employees and the day-to-day activities that are going on. But I would say no, it's not typical because every day something is happening in the city that is just a little different than something we've dealt with in the past or worked on in the past. We pride ourselves in Hammond as being creative and fun, and that's I think that's so important for
Hmm.
people. Sometimes we forget. Yeah, we have to go to work. We have to work hard. We have to do the best we can to be successful and be very good at our jobs. But we forget that you got to have fun with it too. If you're not having
Hmm.
fun with what you're doing, then you're doing it wrong.
Hmm.
So we shake things up quite a bit in Hammond. So most of my days are not typical. And we do a lot of brainstorming sessions too. We're always
Okay.
talking about what can we do differently, going forward than what we've done in the past to be different. So most days there is usually something that I may be, looking at or addressing or working on for the first time ever. So it's a fun job. It's very gratifying to be a part of some of the great things that we're able to do in Hammond.
That is amazing. 700 employees, sir? 700?
700 full time, yes.
Wow. And then how many part time?
There's probably about 500 part time employees, depending on what time of year it is.
Oh, it
Yeah.
makes me think about something that one of my mentors said to me a long time ago, and I didn't understand it until I had the opportunity to be in various leadership positions, and she said that when you're in leadership, it's not about the glitz and glamour. You have to really have a heart for it, and you have to be in a mindset where not having to always be in the forefront. So to hear 700 people, 500 that's incredible, sir. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
That's quite a bit low.
Wow.
I mean, when Mayor Tom first took over, I want to say full-time employees was probably over 1,000. So,
Wow.
nowadays government has gotten smaller, and we've streamlined things, and we figured out ways to be more efficient about what we're doing. But you're right, 700 is still a lot of employees.
Wow. I kind of feel like the person from Home Alone, like, ah!
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So the next question I have for you, well, I think it's a really good segue to it, is as a leader, how do you find how do you find balance between work, family, and fun?
Personally, I would say that, as you get older, and you mature, you figure out um, what works for you as a person to find that balance. For me, with work, because we typically do work longer hours, and with what we do, we have a lot of evening meetings, we have a lot of
Mhm.
events on weekends, so you don't have that typical schedule. But I like to, one thing I like to do is I like to run. That's something that works for me. I know everybody's different,
Mhm.
but if I have, say, I'm working on a day where I'm going to be working, 12 hours that day because we have a council meeting that night, I'll go home midday, go for a run, and re-shower, and then and come back to work, just to break it up, and so
Mhm.
that you're not just in that mindset all day. And it helps me kind of decompress for from some of the things that we're working on, and dealing with it. Sometimes can be stressful, and then I always find family time. There's if you're in a job where you're not able to spend time with your family and friends, I'd suggest you look elsewhere, because I think we do only live once. In my mind, I do
Mhm.
go by Justin Bieber's YOLO attitude, and I always we make sure that I have a lot of family time. I coach my kids in sports. My wife and I make sure we take time to ourselves, outside of work events. So I think that as you get older, it's not even like figuring out how to find balance. I think as you get older, you figure out that you have to have balance.
Absolutely.
You've got to figure out a way to have that, or you won't be successful in any aspect of your life.
Wow, I absolutely love that. That's so true. And so what advice would you give to someone in leadership? I would say someone that's starting off, and then someone that's currently, because I think that there's a growth that takes place when you're first getting into it versus someone that's already been into it.
When you're first starting off as a leader, I would do a lot of listening. I would do a lot of research. I would be, kind of out there looking at the success stories from other people who are doing similar jobs to what you're doing. And I would take that all in, and not try and reinvent the wheel as far as what you're trying to do. And there's different kind of leaders. Some leaders lead by respect. Some leaders like to be a little bit more stern, and be that A personality type. So there's different ways of leading, but that's what I would suggest is kind of look out there, and see who's successful in similar roles that you're taking on, and maybe steal some of those things that they've learned over their time. And then after you get through a certain learning period, now start taking your own personality and your own experiences and your own education, and mold it into the things you've learned from others, to make it your own, and to have your own success, and to forge your own path. For leaders that have been around a long time, I mean, I could probably learn from, there's lots of leaders out there. When I'm around them, I'm constantly picking their brains
Mhm.
about what they've learned over time. So I would just never stop talking to other folks that are doing similar things, and constantly try and learn the newest, coolest ideas that other people are coming up with for to be successful. that would be my opinion. And then always, make sure your friends and family are involved too. You're not going to be a
Mm-hmm.
great leader unless you're talking to people around you and talking about what you're doing and bouncing things off of people that are close to you and getting help with any type of challenge that you might be dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is next for Phil Taillon?
That is a good question. I would say that I've been with the city 14 years now. I love what I'm doing. I love working with Mayor Tom. He's been an inspiration for me, and not just saying that. He truly has. I've learned a ton from him. I don't have any specific plans to do anything different because I love what I'm doing. But as I see as Mayor Tom is looking at his future. He ran for Congress a year ago. I know he's going to be looking at other opportunities here in the future. I always keep my eyes and ears open as to what opportunities that'll create for myself. I could work with Mayor Tom for the rest of my life and be completely happy and that would be great. But I also need to pay attention because you never know when Mayor Tom's going to find something else. I hope he never leaves Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does, I'm always kind of keeping my options open as far as what else I would like to do that I'd have fun doing that I think I'd be successful at. So I don't have anything specific, Dara.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have some great
No,
answer for you,
that's
but
perfect.
I do keep my I do keep an eye out and what's out there in the in Northwest Indiana.
Wonderful. Well, Phil, I would like to just thank you so very much for coming on and being our special guest today. It was truly an honor. For those that have tuned in, I want to just encourage you all to please share this broadcast with everyone that you know. And is there any, before I close up, Phil, was there any lasting comments or thoughts that you just want to leave with the viewers?
Just I know you do this already, Dara. I know it's your job, but what you guys do at Haven House is amazing.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
the city of Hammond can't be successful without organizations like Haven House. So I would just ask people out there to be supportive of your organization any way they can, and when you do that, you make Hammond a better, stronger community. So kudos to you
Oh,
and all
thank
your
you.
board members and everything you guys are doing. And thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't have said it any better. So on that note, I want once again want to thank you, Phil, for coming on and being our special guest today, and would definitely like to invite you to come back on again. And
Anytime.
also, I'll just conclude with this. It's one of my favorite sayings. I just want to thank everyone that tuned in today, because I always like to say that our time is one of our most valuable resources, and you could have been anywhere, but you decided for this 30 minutes to log in and listen in, and for that I am truly grateful. So I wish you all wonderful rest of the week. Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you for all that you do for the city of Hammond, for the residents, everyone. Thank you so very much, and thank you for your yes and agreeing to come on. It is greatly appreciated. So thank you again, and you all have a wonderful day. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Dara.
Thank you.